First startup, I guess, pitching on stage, instant factoring. Let's give her a big round of applause because I'm... Okay.
Hello, everybody. My name is Elisa Rusu, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Instant Factoring Romania. I used to work more than 20 years in the banking system, and the last 10 years I was running the factoring department of Banca Transilvania, which is the largest bank in Romania at the moment. What I have learned in these years from the system, I learned that micro-enterprises, which are actually the engine of any economy, they are the most affected by the lack of financing in order to develop their businesses. So, micro businesses do not have access to financing because their turnover is too small, because they have bad financial indicators, because they have lack of guarantees, and because time of response is very long for the traditional players. Did you know that the answer to the question number 1, according to some surveys in Europe related to the micro enterprises, is that they have a real problem accessing the financing? Did you know that in Romania, more than 90% of the active companies are micro companies, and more than 70% of them do not have access to financing? That is the reason why we created Instant Factoring, which is an online, completely automated solution, a fintech solution, and we are a pioneer in opening the road for micro companies to have a corporate loan, a company loan. At Instant Factoring, we created a very smooth onboarding process for our clients. Sorry. We created a software which, I'm sorry, I think the time is not okay. We created a software with a very smooth process of onboarding for our clients, less than 3 minutes. We created a software which is capable to analyze and to score our clients online and to give the decision in less than 2 hours. And if the decision is positive, then in maximum 24 hours, we can put the money in their account. Also, at Instant Factoring, we automated a lot of our back office processes, as we are a fintech company and we want to keep our team at a small level and to use the software and the technology from our days. With our mission, we consider that we have a social impact for our clients because we helped a lot of micro entrepreneurs to create jobs, to pay their salaries, to pay their taxes for the state, and even to develop their businesses. So that is the reason why, after only 6 months from starting, we get a 1.5 million loan from a social impact fund. Our most valuable asset is our team, with more than 10 years experience in all the area of such a business. IT, credit risk financing, banking, factoring. After 7 months of activity, our figures are very strong. More than 350 clients served, 2.5 million euro placed in the market, and 0.05% default rate. And we have also plan of developing in other countries with other range of products, machine learning, AI, and blockchain system. Thank you very much. I think now it's a Q&A session.
I didn't quite catch it. What would you estimate the market for this business is? What is the market for microloans, right? For SMEs?
Yes, exactly. I said that 90% of the Romanian active companies are micro companies, and 70% of them do not have finance access. And in Romania, this number is up to 40,000 companies, micro companies, only in Romania.
But the current market, what size in terms of euros, let's say? What is the value of microloans that get rolled right now for SMEs?
In this moment, I can tell you which is because micro companies did not have access to microfinancing until now. So we don't have quite a figure about this market. But I can tell you that the factoring market is in this moment at 4 billion euro, for example, in Romania, which is only a third comparing to Poland, for example.
What's your primary acquisition channel? Where do you get your customers from?
Everything is done online, including our marketing process. So we are a completely online solution. Everything is done online.
All right. Just to try to understand better, so what you're doing is factoring, which means companies, SMEs, are getting money in return for their trade receivables, right? They sell their invoices, kind of a, and in return they get payment faster. But who is providing the money for those payments?
Who is paying the invoices, or who is providing us the money?
Yeah, who is paying the invoices to the SMEs?
The invoices are paid by the clients of our clients. We are calling them the debtors.
All right.
Because in this kind of transaction, there are three parts. Us, which are buying the invoices, the client, which is selling the invoice, and the debtor, which is paying the invoice.
Who are the debtors, and how do you plan to scale this internationally if they're only in Romania?
The debtors are various companies, starting with also micro companies to large corporates. We have all the range in our portfolio in this moment. And related to your second question, how we intend to scale this model, we already want to open next year 3 other countries, Croatia, Serbia, and Poland, because our software mechanism is a very scalable one, and we just have to do some adaptation related to the local laws and figures, let's say.
So, is there any particular vertical that you are addressing? I mean, from the 350 customers you mentioned, is there any vertical or doesn't matter?
Could you be more specific?
I mean, from which industries are coming your customers?
Oh, I understand. In this moment, there are a lot of, the most important categories from our portfolio are little producers, little transport companies, and companies working in commerce area.
And what is the value for, average value for?
The average ticket size in this moment in our portfolio is 2,200 euro, which is never done before in Romania. It's a very, very small ticket size.
And in your business case, it's a fair one? I mean,
yes, this is our targeted segment, because this is what we want to cover, the micro companies which are not covered in this moment.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Next startup, pitching on stage, Nifty Learning. Just give it to me. Just give it that to me. And I'm waiting for the, wherever you want. Just take this. And this. Good luck.
Oh. Hi, everybody. I can come here. I was told I can't, so thank you. My name is Liz. I represent Nifty Learning. We're a team of 4 from Iași, and we automate training scheduling activities for enterprises. Has anyone organized or attended a training event, maybe a corporate one? Can I have a show of hands? The kind of work that these companies, these people do, training coordinators. No, what did I do? How do I make this go further? No, it's actually going backwards. Okay, sorry. So a training coordinator's day looks like this. So they have to do a lot of data entry and repetitive actions. They contact a lot of people and update a lot of systems that are quite often unintegrated. So their work schedule is really quite hectic and inefficient. There are about 1 million training sessions happening every workday in the world. So multiply this mess by 1 million, and you can imagine the kind of workload these people do every day. About a quarter of the learning budgets are wasted because of poor administration work. It takes about 10 hours to plan one training session out of those 1 million. And people who do the job feel like they do admin or secretary work about 80% of their time. That's because the training coordinators are the key to the whole process of getting corporate training done better and faster. So we spoke to a lot of companies. We identified and isolated 3 pain points: the way they gather the training needs from employees, how to manage the resources to satisfy these needs, and how to measure the return on investment on the actual training activities. So we came in. I have a background in training administration outsourcing. I used to work for Xerox for Fortune 500 clients, and we simplified the process and we go back to the basics. One of the reasons why companies don't do this efficiently is because the solutions that they have right now are really hard to configure, so they just don't do that and they go back to the spreadsheets. What we do is we go back to the basic process and we help them step by creating the perfect playground for them to organize training sessions. Why is this important? Because almost all companies use face-to-face training. A week in every employee's life is spent in the classroom. The market size is really huge, as a philosopher once said, 36 billion, and it's been growing in the past years by 5%. In our landscape of competitors, we do not focus on content, we focus on business process, so it's a core HR process that we are trying to solve. It's content agnostic. Any kind of training that companies want to put on our platform, we're fine with everything. And within our bubble of, let's see if I can help you with this. So we are on the far right, we are very enterprise focused and very instructor-led focused. And within our bubble of competition, we are aiming for a better training experience, and we do not go for, let's say, educational institutions. We go exclusively for corporates. It's a direct sales process, subscription-based model. Our target company is any company over 1,000 employees that does internal face-to-face training, or maybe external face-to-face training. A pricing model with a flat fee and a pay-per-use, so quite flexible. We've started pilot projects with Banca Transilvania and KPMG Romania. We're actually in an acceleration program with KPMG Romania. And we are very happy to say that we have validated every single pain point and we are resolving them successfully. The team, why are we the best people to do this? Because of the experience in my background, and because the tech team is wonderful and really skilled, and because the sales guy is currently doing B2B software sales. So we have the full package, let's say. Thank you for your time.
What level of traction do you have at this point?
Excuse me?
Traction, customers.
We are pre-revenue. We are now testing with Banca Transilvania and KPMG.
Just to make sure that I understand it, so it's experience learning management platform should be the description of what you're doing, probably.
Experienced.
Well, learning not in schools, but for corporations.
Yes, corporation. It's a.
So it's a management platform. How do you differentiate with like Docebo? I didn't quite get it from this 4x4.
Am I allowed to go back through the slides?
Yeah, please.
Okay. So we know that there are a lot of LMS solutions out there. We are not an LMS solution. We're a learning administration, not management solution. So we don't compete with the guys that deliver content. We just help companies organize their content that they already have. Basically, if you will, we integrate with Docebo to organize classroom training.
Do you also make sales? Do you bring in leads, or do you just provide the platform for companies that organize trainings?
We didn't think about getting leads. We were asked the question of whether we want to develop a marketplace. We're not looking for that right now because the market just for training management, so just for solutions that help companies organize better, is 36 billion. Marketplace is a different kind of animal that we don't want to try to hunt right now.
You mentioned you were selling to corporates directly, and that's why it was kind of unclear to me.
Yeah, well, it's a core HR process. So we optimize a business process. Think of it like a Jira or Asana for training administration, or maybe like a Zapier meets Jira and Asana for training administration.
So then the corporate actually owns this account? And the trainers just use it, right?
Yeah, they're internal trainers, vendors. We don't even need to have access to their data. It can even be deployed locally to their systems.
Okay, so then switching towards the marketplace should be easy in the future if you want to.
It should, but it's early stage, so it might be in the roadmap. For the moment, we have a lot of work that we need to do, development especially.
So how many companies did you interview from Romania, for example, just for validating your idea?
So we spoke to about 30 companies in Romania. We also did and validated a lot of the points. Some we didn't, of course. We also did a cold emailing campaign to outside companies. We contacted about 150, something like that, and we got a response rate of about 20%, out of which half said that they do feel the pain and that they would be interested in a solution. That and extra validation by finding out that there's a competitor in the market that's been there since 2001. And also my past experience, because there's a whole industry of training administration outsourcing. So there are companies who exclusively do administrative processes for other customers, just training.
And your roadmap? What is your roadmap now?
We have now resolved the middle part of these pain points. So we are now doing resource management efficiently, GDPR and all. We want to start working on needs gathering as soon as possible. And for return on investment and measurements, we are thinking of integrating with a BI tool to get things moving faster.
All right, so I have a question here. What is the reason you're pre-revenue? I mean, except that you have to build the product first, but isn't it that you're addressing a market that has a long sales cycle and it's tough decision making with multiple decision makers involved? And how do you overcome this? You know?
We try to reach out to companies through a network of friends and people we know, because getting vetted as a startup in front of a corporation is quite hard. And we hope to achieve some of this also through the KPMG Accelerator, for example. We're aware of the long sales cycle because it's a SaaS that gets internally done.
Usually startups, at least in my experience, start getting salespeople on board and trying to sell. But when you have a long sales cycle, consider also marketing, because the decision can be postponed and the salesperson may not fulfill KPIs at the beginning so much.
I understand. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, guys.
Coming up next, end test.
Hi everyone, my name is Liviu and I'm here to tell you about end test. Software bugs cause a lot of damage. What's the best way to reduce the number of bugs? We test the software. What's the best way to test the software? We automate it. There's one big problem though. We need to know how to code in order to do it, and it requires constant tweaking. We need a better solution. How about a platform that does it for you, codeless? That's what N-Test is. You can use it to create tests. You can use it to run tests. And the best part is that the tests take care of themselves. It's fast. It's in the cloud. It's easy to use. It uses machine learning for the self-healing tests. Now, about these self-healing tests, they do work on complex scenarios and complex applications. But I'm going to show you a really basic example. Let's say you have a login form. You write a test for it. The test is passing. Everything is good. But then someone decides to change the login form. You run your test again, but it fails. Why? Because the elements are not the same. What N-Test does is that it detects those changes and it automatically fixes your test. How does it do that? Each time you ran your test, it learned more and more about your elements. Regarding the market potential, what kind of companies would use N-test? Any type of company that develops software, whether it's their main activity or not. Okay, so if the product is so good and the market potential is so big, then where are the customers? These are just some of our paying customers. Our revenue keeps growing. We keep a keen eye on our competitors. Our business model is a classic SaaS, offering 3 types of subscription. But what truly makes N-test stand out is the team behind it. Because you can easily copy a functionality from a competitor. You can find ways to drive more traffic to your website, but you can't clone a team. And here's where you can find us. Thank you.
What's your conversion ratio of free to paid?
It's 1 in 100 users becomes a paying user, so 1 in 100.
So how many active users do you have versus customers?
Well, we have around 9,000 registered users, and we have 69 paying companies because the subscription is per team.
Oh, maybe continuing what John is asking, how much do you get average per company, like per paying company?
Well, our pro plan is the yearly subscription. We only have the yearly subscription, and it's $1,650 per year. This is for the pro plan,
So
which
this
is the most
average.
sold.
I asked about the average, so this is the average.
So the average would be a bit higher than that, because there are more pro plans sold than enterprise plans.
So again, I mean, just to make sure, this is like testing the user interface, right?
Yes.
And I'm asking this, and I guess John is asking this because there are many free tools on the market. There is companies like Selenium out there.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you compete with all these, with all those free tools and these already established
Well,
businesses?
Selenium is actually not a tool, it's an open source library, and that's one of the libraries that we use in our tool, being open source. But Selenium is just a library. We actually offer a platform, so you also have browsers in the cloud. You have devices, you have advanced features such as video recording. So Selenium is just only a small part of that. And regarding the competitors, the ones that I mentioned, those are not open source, because when you have open source, you only have libraries. You don't have platforms where you get everything.
My question was like, how do you compete with so many free tools on the market in terms of positioning?
Well,
maybe?
our advantage is that it's easy to use than that tool, because if you want to use, that library, if you want to use that library, you have to know how to code and implement it, and you consume a lot of time and money with implementing that free tool. So you might be tempted by the zero cost, but the cost is actually hidden, and it's a lot of work to implement that open source library.
So everything was developed by you, or it's just also plug-in from other vendors? I mean, open.
This solution and test, it's developed by me. I'm the main developer.
Okay. And what is the roadmap for you?
What is the roadmap in terms of development or in terms of?
Are you planning to add some additional functionalities?
Absolutely, absolutely. We're constantly adding new functionalities and features. And right now in our roadmap, we have at least 10 functionalities that we're planning to use, but mostly we're focusing on the machine learning part, because we want to help the users save time and, let's say, give them smart insights into their applications, into their tests, into the results.
From the number of customers you show us, or the logos, which are from Romania, or how many are from Romania?
There's actually only one from Romania, Opswat, which are in Timișoara, but that's just one of their offices. Their main office is somewhere in San Francisco. But those are the only ones from Romania.
Other questions? Okay, N-test, thank you.
Thank you.
The last startup pitching on stage from this batch only, TPS Engage.
Hello, everyone. My name is Matei Psata. I am the co-founder of TPS Engage. I've worked in advertising for the past 8 years, and there's always been one thing that has shocked me. If you look at the multitude of communication channels today, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, is outdoor advertising. People have been putting up ads ever since we invented writing. However, if you look at movies, such as Minority Report, showing us how the future of digital outdoor will look like, and then you go back into reality, you realize that the channel has not evolved significantly. This is a $30 billion market, comprised mostly of big brands like the ones you recognize here. However, these brands only manage to buy up 50% of the total inventory. The other 50% remains entirely unsold. And this happens for three main reasons. The businesses that traditionally invest billions into online media channels consider this environment expensive, unmeasurable, and non-reactive. And that's because it is. But all that is about to change. TPS Engage is a self-service platform that makes digital outdoor and indoor accessible, measurable, and contextual. This happens by taking the 50% unsold inventory and splitting it into a minimum buying of 1 hour, making it affordable to any kind of business. In order to get real-time analytics, we put up sensors on top of the digital screens and use our AI-powered solution to provide real-time analytics to any advertisers. And by taking all this and connecting to other public or custom data triggers, we're able to allow any advertiser to change their video ad based on things like weather, time of day, or even the gender of people in front of the screens. And I know you're going to ask this. It happens within one platform and in a 100% GDPR-compliant way. Now, in terms of competition, there are other players trying to solve the challenges of this industry. However, none of them offer an integrated way to breach the minimum buying period, track results, and contextualize your ads within one platform. We've worked with various SMBs, such as NGOs, dental clinics, and other small shops, but as well with big brands in their efforts to future-proof their digital marketing efforts. Right now, we are proven on the local market in a pilot stage, and we are getting ready to launch over 10,000 screens connected into the platform in the US. We are a Techstars company. We have won the Dubai Links International Advertising Award for startups and are a founding member of the European Tech Alliance alongside companies such as Spotify and Naspers. And the best thing about this is that the network operators receive all our technology for free. So it's an easy decision for them to partner with us, and the response so far has been highly positive. Our team is a motley crew comprising over 50 years of experience in advertising, marketing, product development, and business development. So if you want to join us in reshaping an industry that is just right for the taking, reach out. Thank you.
What is the business model? So are you taking commission? That's one question. And the second would be, you were saying you're installing sensors on existing screens. Does that mean that you can actually provide analytics to the owners of the screens of the 50% that they sell themselves?
Okay, so firstly, yes, it's a revenue share model. So we take a cut of all the advertising that goes through the platform. It's around 25%. It's around 25%, but it varies from network to network. So it's a cut of the advertising that goes through the platform. And yes, we provide the analytics that also helps the network operators find out, for example, which screens are performing well, which are not. So it's also a business solution for them in the long term.
Can you explain your, you mentioned you're going to launch in 10,000 screens. What does that look like?
So how are we launching, or what is the question?
Yeah, what's the arrangement?
So the screens are connected through an API within our platform. And if you're asking about the go-to-market strategy, let's call it, this won't come as a surprise, but we're going to use digital outdoor to market ourselves. But we also partner with digital agencies or agencies that work with a lot of SMBs and offer them an incentive to bring SMBs and popularize the platform. I'm not sure if that answered your question or not.
Maybe I didn't get it. The answer. I mean, so it seems like real estate business, like location, 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 in a way that who owns the placements, who owns those digital screens, and what is the arrangement? Do you have any exclusivity on the best locations, on the best screens, and so on, so you can prevent competitors stealing them from you?
That's a great question. We don't have exclusivity, and we don't ask for exclusivity with the network operators. So we're not in the business of putting up our own billboards, not at all. We connect with already existing networks in order to optimize their revenue, bring in new clients that traditionally don't advertise on this environment. And for them, it's new revenue. It's analytics that helps them figure out which screens are performing well and which are not. And that's it. So it's not for us a real estate approach. It's
got it. What makes you unique then, if somebody else decide to input sensors and track and have a cloud system to, you know?
Honestly, we welcome competition in this phase. We are trying to reshape an industry. If you're familiar with the advertising industry, you know that right now, even digital outdoor is bought using a spreadsheet, and that's it. That's the big technological advancement.
So on the same line of differentiation, patents? Is anything patentable from here?
We are considering it, let's call it, but it's not the approach that we want to go for right now. So it's a first-to-market approach in this phase, honestly, because it's a totally new way to treat this environment.
You described on one of the slides that you had proven something. What had you proven?
Well, first of all, we've proven that there is interest from the SMB community on a local level, obviously. So we've worked with dozens of various SMBs, and they're all most of them are recurring clients that have started using our solution for small campaigns, obviously. But we also wanted to test the reactions of big brands when it comes to contextualizing their campaigns and doing long-term special project kind of approach. And the response has been positive.
That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.